Well, hello, hello, hello. We are live. This is Trish Ajel Roberts. It's Mind Blowing Thursday, and I'd like to start with a little bit of breath work and some guided meditation. So go ahead and bring your hands together. I'm going to just generate a little bit of warmth here. This warmth in your palms is so healing and so powerful. Take your right hand to your heart, take your left hand to your belly button. And when you get there, press in. So, like, kind of grab yourself a little bit. Give yourself the intensity of your touch. Let yourself feel a solid hug from yourself. So, just start there. And then go ahead and soften the hands and notice. See if you can notice the rise and fall of your breath. Maybe you can notice the beating of your heart. How do you feel? And then inhale through your nose. Let your belly fill. So let your belly fill into the left hand. And then exhale, release a loud sigh. Let's do that again. So inhale through the nose. Let the belly fill into the palm of the left hand. And then exhale with a sigh. And for this last one, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill again. This time, when the breath gets all the way full, I want you to see if you can take just another little sip of air. Almost a little uncomfortable, like you're too full. And then hold that there. Hold it, and then really let it all out. Ooh. All right, so we're going to go into our meditation right away. So for meditation, your back should be straight. And depending on where you are, you could be seated, you could be lying down. It doesn't matter much. What matters is that the spine is straight. And then let's just place our palms down on our lap or on our knees. This is a very grounding hand posture. So if you need grounding, this is one way to go there. And your eyes can be closed if that feels good to you, or if you want to keep your eyes open, just don't stare, right? Our attention shouldn't be through the lens of the eyes. The intention is internal. So the eyes can be in a soft, kind of unfocused gaze, maybe 2 or 3 feet ahead of you. And then wherever you are, let your shoulders relax. So relax the shoulders. Bring the awareness to the crown of the head. And just imagine that the crown of your head is warm and relaxed. Relax your forehead. Imagine if there are any lines there, that they're all just releasing. Relax your eyes, whether they're open or closed. See if you can relax your eyelashes, your eyebrows, just releasing all of that. And then bring your awareness to your jaw, to your mouth, and relax the face. So for me, I like to do like a little kind of a duck face, like maybe move my mouth from side to side a little bit, blow a kiss. You can also blow some air into your cheeks. All of that just allows the muscles in your face to become active, and then you can release them. And then bring your awareness to the center of your throat and see if you can relax the throat, relax the neck and shoulders, the upper arms, the forearms, and the hands. And then relax your chest. Right in the center of the chest, relax that heart chakra. Let your heart be soft. Relax your belly. So if you're holding your belly tight, if the belly is tense, see if you can let your belly soften. Relax the hips and the glutes, the thighs, the knees, the calves. And then relax the feet and the ankle. And if you're wearing shoes or slippers, if you have an opportunity to take them off, you might want to take them off. I'm gonna take mine off. A little opportunity for more grounding there. And then just scan your body from head to toe. See if you notice any place that's bothering you, that you need to breathe into or adjust. And go ahead and release that. And then bring your awareness to your breath. So we know that meditation is good for us. It's good for our families, for our communities, for our cities, even for our nation. So as you bring your awareness to your breath and you ask your mind to do just one thing, do that with intention. These next few minutes are important. We're teaching our mind to do one thing and to anchor to one activity, which is going to generate peace and both physical and mental wellness. So bring your awareness to the breath. There's no need to change the way you're breathing. Just notice the sensation of air as it enters and leaves the body right at the tip of the nostrils. Just see if you can be curious and notice. You might notice that the air is cooler on the inhalation, warmer on the exhalation. See if you can just follow that breath. If you find your mind wandering, just redirect it gently, with compassion, without judgment, with love. So if the mind wanders, redirect it as if you were speaking to someone you love. Continue to follow the breath, just noticing the sensation of air as it enters and leaves the body right at the tip of the nostrils. You might notice the temperature of the breath, cooler on the inhalation, warmer on the exhalation. You might notice the balance of the breath. Maybe it's heavier through the right nostril or more full through the left nostril. Or you might notice that it's perfectly balanced. See what you notice, just following the sensation of the breath right at the tip of the nostrils. We're asking our mind to do just one thing. Notice the breath. If you find the mind wandering, just redirect it right back to the breath. No judgment, nothing but love. And then take just a few more moments here just to enjoy this feeling of peace, of relaxation. You should feel lighter. You should feel restored. You should feel peaceful. Take just a couple more breaths here. And then gently bring your awareness back to your normal level of awareness. If your eyes are closed, you can take your time and slowly and gently open them, allowing light back. So you don't want to be too abrupt when you come out of your meditation. All right. So start with the meditation and stay for the healing. So today's Mind Blowing Thursday, my topic is why inner child healing is important for leaders. And for me, I feel like maybe um, in the past couple of years, this topic has been brought to the forefront for me, this idea of inner child healing. So I want to just get into it a little bit. First, you might wonder, well, what is the inner child? Like, what does that even mean? So when you think of your inner child, and I think the first time I heard this, I thought, oh, my inner child is just fine. Like, what are we talking about here? But in this thought process, right? The inner child represents the part of us that carries those early memories, early emotions, and for many of us, needs that went unmet. And the reason it's important is because it can show up in our adult lives. So it can show up in good ways, like moments of play, moments of joyfulness and creativity, but it can also show up in negative ways, moments of shame or fear or self doubt. Now, I like to talk about what is a leader, right? Because I know that my clients are 99% women leaders. So, what does it mean to be a leader? For some of us, it could mean that you are an HR leader, you are a corporate executive, you are in a profession like a doctor or a lawyer, or you could be an entrepreneur. But It could also show up in a lot of other ways. So anytime somebody is looking up to you, and when you are a role model, you are a leader. So you could be a community leader, you could be a parent, like that's a huge leadership role. So when you think of leaders, I'd like you to broaden your mindset around that. And even if you are, say, working in a corporate space, that's not the only place that you lead in. We lead in so many places. And this inner child matters for us as we show up. For a lot of us, we know that the way that we were parented impacts the way that we parent our own children, but it also shows up in the way that we lead our teams. So, unhealed wounds from childhood, they can show up in the workplace. This is so common, showing up as people pleasing or showing up as perfectionism, sometimes showing up as fear of rejection. I know for me, one of my things that I'm always working on is the ability to handle critiques, right? So I don't know if it's so much fear of rejection, but it's something, so it can show up in a lot of different ways. And when you connect with your inner child, when you kind of heal and reach back to those parts of you which maybe have gone unnoticed or unexamined, it creates that space. If you follow me, you hear me talk a lot about self-awareness. So it creates space for self-awareness. It creates space for empathy for yourself, for your child self, right? Your young little person self. And when you create empathy for yourself, it allows you to create the space where you can have empathy for other people, for people on your team, for your own children, for your partner, for people who are in spaces with you. And, I say self awareness is my favorite word, but this is another favorite word, my favoritist word. Authenticity, right? I talk a lot about working in corporate for decades. I've been working for myself now for almost a decade. And just that ability to be authentic, to show up in a space as yourself. And it doesn't mean that you are not appropriate, right? So I may dress the way I'm dressing now because I'm at home doing what I'm doing, but I wouldn't wear a bikini to get on my Zoom call, right? That's for the beach. Well, I don't know if I'd be in a bikini, but we'll see. Who knows what could happen? But so it doesn't mean, because I think sometimes people confuse this, that they think that if they're authentic, that means that you just show up wherever you are in the same energy that you show up at your family barbecue or at, girls' night out or something like that. And it's not the same. You still want to be appropriate for the spaces that you're going into, but you know who you are and you know how you show up and you're making decisions about how you want to show up and bring your whole self to the table. That was a long rant about authenticity because it fills me up. All right, so those are some of the main reasons why inner child work is so important for leaders. That self-awareness, growing that empathy, and being able to grow that authenticity as a leader. Now, how do you even know if you have an inner child that maybe needs some healing? So, we already touched on things like perfectionism and people pleasing and fear of rejection. It can also show up as triggers, right? Do certain things that people say really make you go from 0 to 100 really quickly? Have people ever accused you of overreacting to things that seem small? We see this kind of thing a lot when people are in traffic. Maybe somebody cuts you off in traffic, and maybe that's the thing that makes you go from 0 to 100 when really nothing happened. It's probably a minor inconvenience in your day. So it can show up as being triggered or overreacting. It can show up as difficulty setting boundaries. I have this show up a lot with my clients. Do you say no when you want to say no? And then do you say yes to the things you actually want to say yes to? So many times we get it backwards. We say yes to the things we don't want to do, and then we say no to the things that we do want to do. So it can show up in that way. Um, Boundaries, it can show up in your ability to ask for help. Is it okay to ask for help? Another sign that your inner child might need some healing, and these all come up so often with my clients. They've come up with myself, to be quite honest with you, and I've spent years working through a lot of this. But that voice in your head, is the voice in your head kind and encouraging? Those are my two key points that I recommend. Is the voice in your head kind and encouraging? Or is it constantly criticizing you? Is it telling you that you are not enough? Those can be signs of a need for healing that inner self. And another one that I see a lot as well is, do you allow time for play? So many people, we grow up and then we think we have to be really serious, and it's almost like we can't have fun anymore, or everybody's watching us, so they're watching and judging what kind of fun we're having. That's another way that the need for some of the healing work is can manifest itself. And I want to share a few practices that you can take away if any of this is resonating with you. So the first one is this idea of reparenting. So, reparenting deals with saying the things you wish your parents might have said to you. So, if you go back to a time when maybe you experienced some trauma, or maybe you experienced some neglect, or maybe you longed for a particular relationship with your parent, you can actually go back, maybe through journaling or through visualization, and speak to yourself the way you would have liked your parents to. So speak to yourself in that loving way. Even when we did the meditation a little bit earlier, I always guide you when your mind wanders, because everybody will do that, especially if you're new to meditation, to redirect yourself, but to redirect yourself with love and compassion and without judgment. Because many times, if you didn't get that growing up, that won't be the way that you redirect yourself. You'll just yell at yourself and be like, there I go again. I'm no good at meditating, and then give up, right? So, learning to redirect yourself, and in a way, the same way that you might reparent yourself, to learn to talk to yourself with that love and compassion that maybe you longed for as a child. And it doesn't mean that you had bad parents. Maybe they were bad, they were good. I think we're all flawed, right? So our parents are all flawed. So leaning into talking to yourself the way that you might have liked. Anyway, so that's one way. Another way is journaling. So you might write a letter to your younger self, telling her everything's going to be okay, or telling her whatever it is that you feel you need to tell your younger self. Um, that's a wonderful, wonderful practice. Another, and I've had the opportunity to do so many of these practices, and I will never forget them. They really create an imprint. Another way is a visualization. So you might close your eyes, like how you probably did during meditation, and visualize spending time with your younger self. I used to love the storms. I really loved being in nature. So when I want to get in touch with my inner self or my youthfulness, it's really nice for me to be in nature. But it could be other things like dance or art. It could be coloring in a coloring book, or building something with Legos. There's so many ways that you can create that connection, create that bridge. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Why healing the inner child is important for leaders, and some ways that you can kind of connect with that inner self. So it's not so much about, because this is important, it's not so much about thinking that you're going to fix the past. You are healing bits and parts of you that are in the present. So I encourage you to maybe choose one joyful activity from your childhood and just schedule like 15 minutes to do it. So it could be coloring. It's funny now they have all these adult coloring books. It could be jumping rope. It could be blowing bubbles. Maybe you just want to play your favorite music and dance around. Just something that you really enjoyed. It could be watching cartoons. So if you make 15 minutes for that, that could be one way to approach sending a little love to that inner child. Another way is to take a question for reflection. And so the question that I will leave you with is this: what did your inner child need to hear that they didn't receive? And how can you say those words to yourself today? So I'll give that to you one more time. What did your inner child need to hear that they didn't receive? And how can you say those words to yourself today? All right, let's close out with a few breaths together. So go ahead and rub your palms together. Take your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your belly button. We're going to take those same 3 cleansing breaths. So inhale through your nose, let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. Again, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. And for the last one, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. When you get to the top, take another sip of breath and then hold it, hold it, hold it, and release it. All right, so if you're watching me on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you are not getting my newsletter, Mind Blowing Monday 1, 2, 3, make sure to sign up. You will get 1 quote, 2 questions, and 3 ways to lead with joy each week. And it'll also keep you updated on my in-person events. So I typically have retreats that are local. I have some international. I have yoga classes that I teach locally. So definitely sign up so you know everything that is going on with me. I wish you freedom, alignment, and effortless abundance. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.